Good evening. Welcome to the school board meeting of March 9th, 2023. Call this meeting to order at 7:01. Could you call the roll, please, Linda?
Mike Boucher.
Here.
Kim McCormick. Here. Mark Sherwood.
Here.
Kristen Savage. Here. Brian Boyle.
Here.
Tim Farah. Here. Shauna Manthorn. Here. Katie Knudsen.
Here.
And Sheila Lowe's.
Here.
Okay, could you all rise, please, for the pledge of allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, first order of business here tonight, approval of minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the deliberative session, February 9th, 2023, and a giant thank you to Kat.
Yeah.
36 pages worth.
Motion been made by Sheila.
A question, procedural question. I noticed some just small typos throughout it. Do I need to address them now to have that officially amended? The small typos in this?
You should, yes.
Okay, sorry.
Guy comes back from vacation and he read them. I'm impressed.
I was well rested, I had time.
Good bit.
Bottom of page 11, there's a spacing issue with EEI, and then at the very bottom, there are two I's instead of one I. Page 18, Ryan,
You really had to search for these, Mark.
Good man.
had time.
man.
Ryan Lebrecq, EEI, fourth or fifth sentence down, there are three E's instead of two E's.
Oh, there it is, yeah.
On page 20, moderator Hatch, it says, "I like your emotion better." I think that should say motion instead of emotion, though I do like the tenor of emotion better. Page 21, myself, at the very bottom of the page, kept pace is spelled P-A-S-C-E mistakenly. And page 33, sorry, trying to fly through this fast here for everybody. It was a Liz Costa, see where she is. We had to freeze everything instead of what it, she actually said that we needed to. Sorry, picayune.
You good?
I'm good now. Are you
All
good,
right.
Brian?
I'm good.
Excellent.
Oh, you're good, buddy.
So do I need to make a motion to accept the minutes with the amendments?
As amended?
Yeah. I'll second.
Thank you.
All those in favor? Opposed? Abstained? Motion passes 9-0-0. Okay. Do we have any delegates tonight?
Brian, you need to
We
do
need to
the
approve
regular
the-
board minutes.
Got another one.
The 16th.
Oh, my Lord. Let's keep digging. You threw me off, Mark.
That one packet just threw you completely off, huh?
Exactly. Let's do
I'll
that
make a
then.
motion to approve the public minutes of meeting February 16th, 2023.
Second. You gotta be quicker.
I know. Made, Sheila seconded.
No, Sheila made it. Katie seconded.
I said motion made by Sheila.
Yeah, he did.
Jeez, I'm
Trying to
bad.
get through this, baby.
Okay. All in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes 9-0-0. We have non-publics here. Non-publics of February 16th.
I'll make a motion to approve the February 16th non-public minutes.
I'll second.
Motion by Kim, second by Sheila. All in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes 9-0. Were you here, Kim? I'm sorry, 8. Were you here?
I was not.
He wasn't, I was, sorry,
You
I
were,
was
so it's
reading.
801.
801.
Yeah.
And return them non-publics. Here we go. That's another one, looks like this.
Is that all the non-publics?
It's all the non-publics here. Now, let's try this again. Are any delegates, are there? Great. Student rep.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Matt.
Yeah, that is, thank you. It's been a long week. Yeah,
He's
it
got
is
a
a
lot
full
going
moon.
on.
I can kind of feel that it's a full moon tonight. There's been a lot going on at the elementary schools, and stuff is starting to pick up at the high school. Project Hope will be having their 13th annual Strut for a Cure fashion show on March 11th, this Saturday. All money raised at the show will go towards families in the district who are fighting cancer. Parent-teacher conferences were yesterday. Parents were able to meet with their child's teacher to talk about how their child is doing in school. There was a bake sale on March 9th hosted by Spanish Honor Society. All the money raised goes to Spanish Honor Society. Grades 6 through 12 orchestra concert on March 13th. With that being said, it's also Music in Our Schools Month. Pie Day is on March 14th. Students bring in money to buy pie. All money raised goes towards Math Honor Society for scholarships. SATs for juniors are on March 22nd and March 23rd. Junior Semi will be held on March 25th in the high school cafeteria. There will be no school March 28th due to a professional development day at the high school. Friday is National Improv Day. There is a Milkman performance tomorrow night at 7 in the Pack Recital Hall. Alumnus Ellie McCormick will be bringing her a cappella group, LaSure, to the improv show tomorrow night to perform. Atkinson Academy, Project LEAD, Law Enforcement Against Drugs and Violence, a program offered in conjunction with Atkinson Police Department, started this week. Students in grades 2 through 5 are participating in the program weekly over the next couple of months. LEAD's vision is to create safer, healthier communities free of drugs, bullying, and violence throughout our country. Special thanks to Officer McDonald and Officer Malia of the Atkinson Police for their time working with students. Students in grades K through 2 participated in the Atkinson Academy 100th Day of School Readathon Challenge in late February. Students, with the support of their families and friends, raised an amazing $5,526. The funds raised have been donated to the Upper Room, a local family resource center which has provided services to strengthen individuals and families throughout southern New Hampshire since 1986. Fourth grade students celebrated a night at the museum taking on the life of historical figures, quite literally. As part of a wax museum project, students chose a historical figure, conducted research using informational text, wrote a biography report, and created posters and poems about their chosen person. Additionally, students created and designed a triboard to organize information and display photographs. Finally, on Wax Museum Day, students dressed up as wax depictions of their historical figures and came to life with the push of a button. Atkinson Academy's Kindergarten Parent Information Night for incoming students will be held next Wednesday, March 15th, starting at 6 p.m. Danville's annual information night for incoming kindergarten students was held Wednesday evening. It provided a great opportunity to interact with families as Danville begins preparing for next school year. The Danville Wellness Community has invited the whole staff to complete a step challenge in March and are planning a hydration challenge in the coming weeks. Pollard Kindergarten Information Night was held the past Monday and had a nice turnout. Thank you to all those that were able to attend. Pollard has five educators from Pollard, which have been nominated for the 5th annual Plastow Community YMCA's Education Celebration based on their positive impact on children in our community. Those nominated are Sherry Bell, Ashley Conway, Dolores Coyle Kirk, Jessica Hood, and Kathleen Sherman DeRoche. Sandown Central Kindergarten Parent Information Night will be held Thursday from 6 to 7 p.m. Sandown Central hopes families can attend. The staff participated in a fundraiser to support Project Hope and breast cancer on Monday. Sandown was happy to make a contribution of over $100 to a great cause. Sandown North, after a long absence, Sandown North hosted Bingo for Books before the school break during the evening of Friday, February 17th for Sandown North families. About 150 students and family members attended and had a great time playing bingo and winning books. At the end of the night, attendees donated their penny markers to raise money for Trees for Haiti. For February's Heart Healthy Month, students in grades 1 through 3 participated in Jump Rope for Heart after school on February 15th. Students in grades 4 through 5 participated in Hoops for Heart during gym class during the same week. In all, 144 students participated and raised $6,489 for the American Heart Association. In art classes, all 5 grade levels learned about different artists from art movements throughout history and created projects inspired by their work. 3rd graders at Sandown North learned about the weather in February and are eagerly awaiting a Zoom with the meteorologist Kevin Skarupa from WMUR.
Thank you. Okay. First sort of current business here. Looks like we have a donation. Who's going to do this? Do a donation first, Chris, or? From
School Booster Club.
We just have to make a motion to accept.
yeah.
So, do you want any information on it?
No, I just,
Oh, you have,
Oh, yeah.
oh.
well, I
There's
thought,
it in my pocket. I
Oh,
didn't
sure.
see it.
Yeah, what we
I don't
have
it.
is the Timberlane Regional High School Baseball Booster Club. Would like to purchase a new pitching machine for the baseball program, and the cost of the machine is $2,600, so a very generous donation. And so in order to accept that donation, the school board would need to take a vote to accept that donation.
okay. Seems pretty easy.
It's the Junior Hack Attack pitching
I'll
machine.
make a motion to accept the donation of the $2,600 Junior Hack Attack baseball pitching machine.
Second,
second, yeah. Michael beat you.
Michael Beecher.
Get it all in
By
there.
Kim McCormick, second by Michael. All's in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Passes 9-0.
Thank you to the
Thank you for the
boosters.
donation.
Boosters.
Yes, thank you, baseball boosters.
Enrollment update.
Here comes
Mr. Patterson? Okay.
Mark.
No, it's okay.
Good evening.
Good evening.
In your packets, you have an executive summary and the enrollment summary that I believe was requested for this meeting. The first half of it is elementary, and then there's a section in the back on secondary. So I don't know if Lucy, if you'd like to speak to elementary or just ask for questions.
Sorry, struggling. The one point that I would like to just highlight is that we don't typically share our early childhood program numbers this early. We're just having kindergarten parent nights this week. registration opened February 1st, but it's still really early. But we thought that seeing as this was becoming more frequent, it would be good to share those numbers so we can watch them grow.
Sheila,
All right, Lucy, let's play.
let's play.
Atkinson
Dr.
Academy.
Farah talked about no questions at your last
I
meeting.
know, I'm not listening to her, I never do anyways, right?
Sheila doesn't follow rules on that.
But I think she'll agree with me on these things that I'm about
All
to
right,
say.
okay.
Atkinson Academy. We already have 35 kindergartners. For some reason, I don't know what it is about Atkinson Academy, but they always get a large number of kindergartners.
Yes.
Okay. What is what's the high amount that we can have in those classes?
20 per class. And our current staffing, the staffing we've had for the last few years, is we have a teacher who runs half-day, and then we have 2 full-day teachers. So that technically, could be 80 kids, 60 would be a half-day, and 2
But we now
full-day.
have 3 teachers, because we used to have 2, right? And we were
Yeah,
turning
we've
people
had-
away.
We've had 3 for a while, but Sue McCauley teaches half-day, and then we have
Okay.
2 full-time. Those 2 full-time we've had for a while now, so that number of 35, actually, the number of 41, right? Those
Right.
who've expressed interest.
That's why I was
If they were
making
all
sure we had
full day,
enough
we're the-
teachers
yep,
to go
we're
around
good.
again, because I knew this was a problem years ago. The only other, which I agree with all your highlights, except for one, I think should be highlighted, and that's Pollard School Grade 5. I think you're real close there. And I'd like to see that one highlighted too. And I would also suggest that you add enrollment again come May or June.
Our plan is to continue. at
Well,
least
the only
monthly
reason
to
I'm
add
saying that is
enrollment.
because if you need another teacher, you're gonna need to know that sooner or than later.
So if I could just, we've tried to stay very clear on numbers. Those classes who are highlighted are 3 or less students away from capacity total.
Right.
The reason that grade 5 is not highlighted is it's not there yet. When we come next month, the plan would be to show individual class numbers, right? This is an average based
Right.
on how many teachers we're proposing. The next iteration of numbers will include, right, those 3 class size numbers, which gives us a different perspective
I
as
just
well.
wanna make sure we have enough time, that if we
Right.
need to add a teacher, that we have enough time to
Absolutely.
acknowledge that and get that out there.
So
But
we
I-
know that, the policy requiring it being brought forward to the board at a certain point, we just feel it's more prudent to bring it every month, so you have
Bring
that
it quicker,
information, you
and
see when it's.
so you can act faster.
Right.
But I think that grade 5 is close to that level too, correct? Because that's 24.7, and we can only tap out at 26. So I just think that's something to look at too. That's it, that's all I had.
Any other questions from the board? Thank you very much.
Thank you both.
Next item on the agenda, Special Education Survey.
All right. So we have Kelly Brooks here to share. In your packet, you do have a section of the special ed survey results. What you don't have are all of the comments, because they give us all of the comments. That's why, Mr. Boyle, you saw that day in my office, the 3/4-inch packet. But we shortened it by removing all the appendices, which included all of the comments. And Kelly has prepared a brief PowerPoint to highlight some of the key findings. And also will include some of the graphics that you see in your packet.
So
Okay, Kelly, take it away.
So, one of the things is just to take some of the information out of the executive summary that was on the front of that. The numbers up there just are talking about how many people we sent it out to, how many people responded. So 36% of our staff responded, 14% of our family members responded, 23% of all surveyed were responded. I think we all can say that that's a low amount. It doesn't doesn't show the whole entire story, right? They had multiple reminders, like phone calls, anybody, emails, and stuff like that. People just didn't respond. Interestingly, when we closed, I probably had 25 parents reach out and said, I missed it, I knew I needed to do it, can I do it? Yep. I sent copies, hard copies out to them and received information back from them. Most of it was comment-based, I'll tell you. Very nice comments from some. The next one is some of our key findings that we found. So the strengths on the survey was about our professionalism among colleagues, communication with teachers, understanding the needs of children, and the professional staff feel as though special ed education services being provided are good overall. Now there's
Key
areas for
findings of the
improvement.
staff. Right,
Yes.
This one.
The other thing is areas for improvement. Communication with related service providers. Related service providers are OTs, PTs, speech pathologists. Communication with paraprofessionals. Communication with administrators. Kind of see a general theme that's going right now. Collaboration, time. Time was a big thing in the survey. Lots of parents, lots of professionals, lots of administrators said we don't have time to be able to do what we want to, but we don't have the time available to do it. Professional development and training was another big one that was brought up, but you need time to be able to do them. I want to improve my reading instruction. I want to help the student that needs to be dysregulated. I really need some professional development, but I don't have the time to take it. I think with the sub issue this year has been really, really hard. People don't want to take the time because there might not be someone there to give the service. So, then the other thing is increase resources to provide the services. Give me something and I'll do it, but we also can't just give them tons of things. They need to be researched. We need to make sure that they're appropriate for them, but they want more things. So this first slide, which is in your packet, just talks about something the parents responded and said where their children are enrolled. The next one is about the role of the staff that responded, so you can see. And how do you feel that you do not have enough time to collaborate with others? Time, very telling on that slide, right?
And the way the question is asked, it can be a little bit confusing if you go back to, well, either way, it's how often do you feel that you do not have enough time to collaborate with others? Always, often, sometimes, rarely, never. So you're asking the question, how often do you feel that you do not have enough time? I definitely could see if some people were confused by the question, so, but we left that to the experts at the UNH Survey Center that this was the way to ask these questions, so.
Right,
But something to be mindful of, and we want to, have some forums and probably ask some other questions directly of folks to find out how well they understood the questions being asked.
We had one parent that came in and did their survey with me, and I had to talk them through what it meant. What does the question actually mean? Because they were getting caught up. And were you asking me if you have enough time, you don't have enough time? This is a parent that struggles, and they just didn't understand the concept of it. The next one is how well do you feel you understand the needs of the students with special needs? A lot of people feel that they understand the needs. It goes back to the resources and the professional development. They may not have the skills to do it, but they understand and they know what they need to do. And how well do you feel you understand the needs of the students with special needs you work with? So overall, paraprofessionals, related service providers, the majority of the people, until you get down to the teacher, think that they understand. And somewhat well. It looks really, really good when you're looking up there that we only have the red and the pink is very small. But really, if you look at the light blue, that's an area that we need to improve on. Somewhat well, to me, says, I think I know what I'm doing. We need to give that support. But it does look really, really well if you don't actually look at it to see where the area for improvement is. Do you feel that you've received sufficient training to support your work with students with special needs? Again, the definitely and probably with the blues are a higher percentage. I think for a lot of people, I might have received the training when I first was a teacher. I might have received training 3 years ago. I might not have received the training since. So I think that was one thing that people got caught up in a little bit. I thought I had really great training when I went to college in 1993. I was a rock star. Right now, I won't have the same skills as somebody who just barely graduated from college. It just has changed. Do you feel you received sufficient training to support your work with students with special needs? So overall, again, you can look, if you look at the dark blue, that's great. There still is a lot of probablys in that light blue section. It's areas that we need to improve on. How likely would you to attend additional workshops or training to learn about working with students? Very likely. That's a great one. 50% of our people are like, yes, I would do it. And somewhat likely, 35%. They want the training. They want to do better for our students.
Last question for you, is there any way to break down that question, the prior question? So 50% felt confident. Is that the same 50% that is willing for additional training? Or the people that say, yeah, I'm 100% confident with the training I've received, so they're going to answer, no, I'm not willing to take more training. I'm 100% confident in the training that I've had.
Right. I think what I have learned out of this is we need to keep asking. We need to keep asking and delve a little bit more into what do they need. So these are kind of random, like I need more training. What do you need training in?
Right.
You know, I need more time. What does that mean? We all could use more time in our lives, but what does that mean? You need more time with students, you need more time to collaborate. What does collaborating mean? With another special educator, I would have loved to do that. Or a teacher, or your administrator to know like some of the things. I think they're just like over the top questions, but we need to dive in deeper to find out. And you're right, we need to know, do you want to do training?
Right, I mean, the overlap between those two prior slides would be very telling, right?
Absolutely.
I feel like I don't have enough training, but no, I'm not willing to do it for whatever reason.
And you get everything in between, right? We want to
Right.
create as many opportunities as possible. I can tell you from experience over many years, some of the people that are the best trained, oftentimes, you know, they're training junkies. They want to learn more and more and more. So, you know, we know that we need to create more opportunities for learning for our staff. You know, figuring out which ones will attend, we find out when they do attend or not. And then we have to ask questions about, you know, when is the best time to make those opportunities available? And then how frequently can we make them available, and using a variety of medium to reach staff. So, but it would be interesting to dig deep into it. We can't break this down any further.
Perfect.
But I think the other thing is, I want to do training, but the training I want to do, not the training that you're being asked to do. That would be another thing. You know, would you like more training? Sure, I'd like to learn more about writing. But you're asking me if I want training about reading? No.
Right, right.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things for us to
Good point.
to look at.
And I think, you know, with Mark, Lucy, and Sandy sitting over there, they would very quickly probably chime in to say, our staff at all, you know, our professional staff, our paraprofessional staff, our administrators are always eager to learn more about their craft. So I think, you know, the more we can create opportunities for everybody to participate in learning, the better off all of our students will be.
And probably a good reflection on that is our upcoming PD, right? When there's all these opportunities that are given, people are choosing, and they're all great opportunities for them to learn in their profession. So key findings of families. So strengths, meeting the emotional needs of the students, meeting the social needs of the students, meeting the academic needs. Families rate us higher with regard to satisfaction of special education programmatic supports than we do ourselves. The areas of improvement, communication, communication, communication are the first top ones. More resources to provide services, reduce caseloads, additional professional development and training for our staff, and improve transition supports.
So I think that last point, right, the fact that families rate us higher is with regard to how they see the supports being provided to their children than our staff does, that we do of ourselves. So it's, you know, the great thing is that they're, you know, critical of themselves, and they want to just do better at what we do and do a better job meeting kids' needs. So I think that lends itself nicely to wanting to learn more.
But communication is certainly one of the big points. And communication can mean many things. Doesn't mean that I need to talk to you every day, but it means that maybe sending an email once in a while or whatever, but it probably is going to go back to time. When do you do that if you have a very high caseload? How do you feel about the communication with your children's or child could be improved? More communication, more proactive, exactly the same slide that just was out there, more detailed communication is really small. The more detail that we put is really, really hard for many parents. You need to be kind of concise with your information. We all get emails or receive emails that are very long, and we've stopped by the second paragraph. Just bullet, it's too far. How satisfied are you with the transitions? So very satisfied and somewhat satisfied. The somewhat satisfied, again, just like the other blues, shows us that some people are very happy with it and some people are like, I think you could do better with that. I think we could do better all the time. The transitions from the grades, that's by school. You can see up there, it's in your report, how people are satisfied or not satisfied with the transition. And how do you feel your child's following needs are met by Timberlane? Social needs, academic needs, and emotional needs are all smaller that we're doing a good job than the somewhat well, an area that we need to be improving on. Social and emotional is a big piece right now. Our children are struggling with that. Our regular ed and special ed students are struggling with it, but even more our special ed students. If you think about a child who's been behind and then they went through COVID and they lost that instruction and they're even further behind, it's very, very hard. How satisfied are you with the transitions of students with special needs? Somewhat satisfied. That 45% tells us that we need to really look at what we're doing. The good thing is that we are doing something about. A lot of these slides are showing things that we need to do for improvement, and we have already been working on these. We already recognize that these are areas that we need to work on. We're full swing into getting transition meetings from elementary up to middle up to high school. We're already doing those, getting those meetings set up and stuff. We're already talking about classes, so we recognize that. How well do you feel the following needs of students with special needs are being met by Timberlane? So social, emotional, academics, not well at all is very telling in that slide. It's very, very large. Well and somewhat well. How do you rate the quality of special education provided by Timberlane? So very good and good are up there, but fair is really where we so that's where we really need to work on, is about our quality of our special ed services that are being provided. And it's, just so that you know, one of the things to reflect on is that some parents are looking for this different level that is really not achievable necessarily from people. There's many mitigating factors that are going on. A teacher is working really, really hard, but there may be reasons why a parent may not feel that they're doing the best instruction. It's not that they're not doing it. The parent may feel that they're not. And in general, how would you rate the quality of special education provided by Timberlane? So if you look up on there, the fair or the poor, different people. Overall, we have that good, and then we have the fair that are pretty close. It means that that's something that we just need to improve on. Where administrators are ranking it, paraprofessionals, related service providers, that kind of purple area is all very similar in the thoughts of what's going on with the services. Quality of special education, same exact one that we just were looking at, very good and good. It's great, fair, we just need to improve. And this is one of my more favorite slides, if I could have one. It's just talking about how can we improve. What are some areas that could improve? What are some suggestions that can happen? So it really looks at smaller caseloads, support time for staff, and the other is always the given, and trust me when I say under the other, there's lots of comments and suggestions about what we could do. And then forums, Would you be interested in attending forums? Yes, not sure. I think people didn't know what that meant. You know, what is a forum? What is that going to look like? How is it going to be? Is it going to be over Zoom? Is it going to be in person? Is it by grade level? I think that's what happens with those questions. If I don't know enough about it, I just put not sure. But that is something that we are going to start doing. We do need to hear from our teachers. We need to hear from our staff. We need to hear from parents what it is that they see as positives, negatives, suggestions, and how can we work together. And there you can see the staff members and administrators where that section of I'm not sure, if you just took that out, looks like the majority of it would really like something for us to offer them. Next steps. We're going to continue to collect information for the special ed audit. So we have been collecting information, and the information we have been collecting, we have been making changes by what we've gathered. Schedule forms with staff and parents. The audit will be presented in May. We're going to continue to evaluate programs, so we're doing that right now. We're in the midst and have been for looking at ASD programs, ED programs, and we're teaming up with another school to be able to look at our language learning programs as well. And then also identify supports and organize the resources. We need to do that. There's a lot to identify for staffing and for resources and for programs and all of those things. We need to pull them all together. One of the things that I think we talk about all the time, at least at the administrative level, is every building is doing something a little bit different. Just trying to get it across the board so everyone has the resources or has the same opportunity. And that is it. Any questions?
I have a quick question. When did you receive all of this information before it became like a published packet?
January, the end of January, I think they sent out one big packet and for review, and then we had to edit it, and then it came back out again.
And from the information that you saw in January, have you started acting upon it?
We did. Actually, the survey that we did is some of the information that we've already gathered from the audit, what we've been doing and things that we've been looking at. So, like I said, the transitions, which was identified in the survey, we'd already started that in the fall because we knew last year it didn't work very well.
We've been assessing and reorganizing the resources that we have already for the past year. And, you know, one of the things that we've talked about, that we're not waiting for all the answers through the audit. We've been looking at that information and making decisions about that, and that was happening even prior to the audit as we started last year. You know, looking at the resources that we have and recognizing the supports that kids need. So we have a couple of activities going on. We have an organization that provides programming for students with autistic spectrum disorder. They've been evaluating our needs in that area. We have a consultant also evaluating our needs for providing resources and supports to students with emotional disturbance. That's what ED is, when Kelly says that. ASD is autistic spectrum disorder. But the largest portion of our identified students population, identified for special education, is they fall under the program called Resource, and that's 75% of students, and they're either identified with a specific learning disability, speech language impairment, or another health impairment, and most of their supports are in the general ed setting, and so we really want to look at how we can broaden that continuum of services to meet that largest population. I don't know, you have a question?
Whenever. Are you done?
Just one more question. So you said there was a lot of comments that were kind of in the other category. Do they have a similar theme to some of those comments?
They do. Yeah, they do. There's the negative and the positive. There's some really good feedback in them if you can kind of weed through them. Communication is probably the biggest one, that we're not communicating. And the other one I will say is about programs. We want more programs, more things offered for our students or our kids that are specialized. Not just, as a special educator, I may have students of all kinds of disabilities. They want people a little bit more specialized. I have more training in ASD, I have more training in ED. We have those people, believe it or not, we have those at many levels. It's just that caseloads may not always fall that way. You know, you may be covering fourth grade and you may have an ASD kid and an ED kid, and your specialty is ASD. You know, so we're trying to work and figure those things out. We're shifting people and kind of looking at their strengths and what they can do.
Okay. Is it all right if I speculate for a second here?
Sure.
Do you believe that there is a communication issue when not enough time is spent during transitions from one grade to another, and people at that point observe that there's a lack of collaboration?
You're
I think
asking
that's
her
one
to
of-
speculate.
Right, I think that's one of the areas, but I think the time and the collaboration is about many things. The transition is one of them, but I think it's just the day-to-day activities of kids as well.
Okay.
That they don't have enough time to be able to give a heads up to somebody that Johnny had a really bad morning, and, you know, this is what, we just don't have that time to be able to do that. Or somebody came in off the bus and they're roaring already. There's no time, right? Somebody responds to it, then we push the child in because you have to go back to something else. I think that's the issue, that you want to have the time. I want to be able to talk to you and say, you know, Johnny's having a really hard time, but I have a class that has 18 kids in it waiting for me.
So as you described that a particular example, are you suggesting there's a staffing issue there?
Not necessarily. I think that we try to have as many staff that are there to help, but I think some things come up. You know, I could have a day where there's no problems, and I could have a day where there's 6 problems. So on that day that there's no problems, I may feel like there's a lot of extra staff around. On the day that there's 6 kids falling apart, you may feel like you don't have enough, but we don't have that ability to move people and shift people around like that.
Okay.
This one over
You
here.
sure?
Yeah.
Some of my question was answered, but I would really like to have it put on probably at the board meeting and probably in April, of an update of what you all are doing to fix these problems. I understand you're always going to be collecting data, but what are you actually, you know, going to be doing to fix this? And then also too, with your said about the special education audit, is it complete?
It's not, the report itself is not complete. We were planning mid-May report out. But we could do a preliminary in April because it's a
Yeah, I
lot of
like that.
information.
Yep, I'd like that.
You know, doing it in stages wouldn't be a bad thing.
Okay.
We've thought about that.
And to coincide with what you were saying, you're saying we're already doing that. So transitions was already an area that you identified. That could be part of the information that you give us in April as well. That would be great.
Right, just like we're doing programs,
Yep,
what
right.
we're doing through that process, we're looking at our behavior services right now
Yep.
and evaluating them. So a lot of the information has come out from last year when we did time studies and those things. So I'm happy to come back and tell people what it is we've been doing and how we've been gathering information and how we've made some of the changes that we've made.
Yeah, and I think that would also help the parents, you know, that are listening, watching, and stuff like that, and just everybody in general, because we always hear data collection, data collection, data collection. It's like we want to see and also hear, what are you all doing to fix the problem?
Right.
So,
Right. Yep, and there's a lot going on.
2 questions. When we do PD days, like the one this month, is it one subject for everybody, or do we have 2 or 3 things that are going on that you can pick and choose?
Well, the one that we're having coming up is by contract where they get to pick what they want to go to.
Self-directed.
Yep.
But we provide a number of different opportunities in a number of different areas
Okay.
for staff to
So
access.
I guess where I'm going with this is, if we have teachers and/or paras or whatever, when we do a PD day, is it a way to do, okay, special ed is gonna go here, and general ed's gonna go here?
So one of the 2 days is more, like the March one is self-directed, and I'm looking over, it's more, there are mandated trainings that we're making
Right.
available to some staff members. There are also, other opportunities chosen by the staff members. Same thing earlier in the year. Go ahead, Sandy. Before I screw it all up.
I'm like, she's there, she's it.
I'm just wondering if, when they say
Yeah,
they want
it's-
more training or need more training,
Yeah.
how many of these PD days are we providing for our special education section?
Oh, we
There's
do.
only
we-
two by contract.
So, yeah, we do. So like the beginning of the year, at the beginning of the year, we did a whole training for special ed and regular ed for de-escalation. So we
Okay.
did that training together. Then every other PD day, we're breaking it up so that we have our own section, yes.
That's what I'm trying to
Yes,
figure
we
out,
do
is
that
that there
already.
are opportunities, because looking at this, it's like, they're claiming
There-
they don't have enough training, enough opportunities, and that's why I couldn't figure it out. Like, are we offering both?
We are, and so we are, but it's complicated because we contractually have 5 total days. Paraeducators have 3. Of those 3 days, one of them this year is allocated for state mandated trainings that are required by law. And so they're not specialized to their content and area of expertise. Staff that missed that day in January have to do those trainings this March, so they may not have the opportunity to engage in some of the other more specialized trainings. So, we try to tailor it to their area.
To their area of-
Yep, based on their areas for growth. For this particular March PD Day, we put out a call for presenters, so we have some outside presenters coming in, but our staff were able to both propose to deliver professional development in an area of expertise that they themselves have, or propose to collaborate with colleagues on something that would be connected to what they need. So some of our related service providers, for example, put together a proposal to engage in training that's relative to their license and training that is required for them. So we try to personalize to the best of our ability, but with 5 total days, 2 of them being in August that are really set to launch the school year, one of those days being required for mandated training, we have limited opportunities. So that's.
No, I get that. I
Yeah.
also know
Yeah.
that, for instance, my daughter takes one in the summer. She'll
Sure.
take a
Yep.
week-long
Yep.
at UNH or wherever in the summer.
Yep.
And that's what we want to continue to grow, other opportunities, and through the use of some grant funding, create opportunities to compensate folks for attending and participating in those trainings, whether it's professional staff, paraprofessional staff, create opportunities for, parent learning.
Now, I know we have a lot of, here's the question I'm gonna ask. When we're hiring, say, elementary teachers, I know, for instance, my daughter, when she graduated, she did a dual. She did the special ed and the elementary ed. Are we finding more and more
Programs require that.
candidates that have both?
More and more undergraduate programs require a minor, or at least, achieving the certification in general special ed in addition to regular ed.
But what I'm asking is, are we looking for that in candidates?
Sure,
When we're
yes.
hiring,
Yeah.
with that special ed component?
Yes,
Okay, that's,
yes,
because that would obviously help.
right.
And there would always be special education representation through that interview process to be digging into exactly what you're talking about, Sheila.
Because a lot of them do go after the special ed for the dual. They look more marketable.
Yeah.
If you're special ed right now, you're marketable anywhere.
Anyway,
Truth. Truth,
That
but
is one of the
if you're
things.
ed, you're marketable right now anywhere. People are leaving the profession.
But you get what I'm
unfortunately.
saying, though. I mean,
Yes.
if we got-
No, absolutely.
a special ed person that's also certified in special ed than just somebody who's just ed.
Right. And people with experience, over the years, some people, oh no, this special ed teacher wants a classroom opportunity now. They'd call me thinking, when I was, a special ed administrator, oh, Chris, you're gonna, be disappointed. No, I'm not. That's great. Somebody with that experience also in the classroom, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
So no matter what, as long as they have experience and knowledge, that's what we want.
Okay, that's all I needed.
You good?
Good job.
Done?
Thank you.
Thank you, Kelly.
Next order of business, the fiscal year 2022 report from Blodzik and Sanderson.
And Maria has done it again.
As you're sitting down, Ray, usually, isn't there like a management letter?
At the end?
Right there.
Where is it?
It's right there at the beginning.
The one at the beginning?
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's usually one at.
Yeah,
at the end.
I thought,
There's usually one at the end, too.
yeah, 4 through 12, yeah.
That is the, well, it used to be like 12 pages because there were like 3 pages of findings.
Oh, I see, okay.
We don't have any
All right.
findings.
Sorry.
Oh, well
Shame on you
Good
guys.
answer, good answer.
Yeah, big one.
Good
We had
answer.
one finding this year.
You did, you had one
Gift
finding.
cards at Pollard, which I don't know why. I keep begging them not to buy gift cards. We have not an official policy, but we did write procedure for gift card purchasing. We have a form that they have to fill out, have to make a copy of the purchase of the gift cards, and I don't know. Pollard
they
last
not?
year, they bought Visa gift cards, which is like.
But they understood that they weren't supposed to do that. Well, maybe there's an evaluation part of that that says, this is the procedure and you're not following it.
Well, he's no longer here, so. But
All right,
it's okay.
well,
Now we're using Bitcoin, right?
Just cash, an envelope with cash. I'm sorry, just being fresh. So, yeah, we got the audit. I have to say one more time, actually, the person that conducts the audit in our district or started conducting it last year is
is
Lisa.
Lisa.
Lisa dedicates most of her time to the annual audit. Carrie helps pulling all information and reports, and my whole team, we just dig into it for the entire week that the auditors are here, and we pull it together. So, again, thank you to my team. Without them, this would not be possible. We also, throughout the year, try to follow up with all principals and directors. We try to be there for them, support them, tell them, call us with any questions before you, if you have any questions before you do something, just let us know. And I think that has been a huge part to the collaboration between the business office and all the principals and directors, because it's a more open communication stream there. So I think that has helped a lot too. We are just, again, trying to do the best that we can. The grant management portion of it is also a big challenge. We have a lot of grants here, so we're trying to work with grant management managers throughout the district to help them fulfill the requirements of the grants and to get the expenses that we can pass through the grants. The one thing that actually Kim brought up, we have a list. If you see the list that we have here is the list for the copiers that we acquired last year, so that's something new that in 2022 up here, because we did that on starting in 2022, so it's all the copiers district-wide, that we have a 5-year list. Other than that,
Nice rate for the copies, huh?
Yeah, we like that. The interest rate we were looking at. It's like 3.2.
The good old days.
Yeah.
Well, I was more interested in this page,
which one?
62. Material weaknesses, no. Significant deficiencies, no.
Yeah?
Federal awards, material weaknesses, no. Do you have any idea how refreshing this is 2 years in a row? To see no major problems and having it in March, and this, close to the actual year. It's a beautiful thing. I commend you and your whole team. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Lisa was kind of mad because we finished it in August, and they only give us the report in March. Like, what's wrong with you guys?
But considering that we have waited years, this is, it's good stuff. I thank you. Thank you and your team.
So Sheila's making a motion to say thank you. I will second that.
Mark, if you were here 4 years ago, you'd be banging your head.
Well, thank you
This is
for,
good stuff.
thank you. We appreciate it, and like I said, we are trying our best to do the best that we can.
Good. Well done.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And we have this next thing, Timberlane Regional School District.
One thing before Maria leaves, for the board members that will remain, periodically, we should have an overview of where the budget stands before you get to the end of the fiscal year. Just as good
Yeah,
practice for the board.
Oh, yeah, in April, right
Yeah.
after I'm done with DRA reporting, I do a projection in April.
Right, so that should be added on the list of things that should be on the board.
Yep,
Is it on there?
on the calendar.
Your list budget.
I do the end of the projection in April, right after I'm done with DRA reporting.
Right, we're just trying to rebuild what items should be putting on the agenda. That's not you, that's the school board, just to remind them.
All righty. So, we have a Timberlane Regional School District Annual Report.
This is very cute, it
I
used to
love
be
this.
big.
This,
The first time I saw it, I was like,
I know,
oh, I
I've been
love
seeing
this.
this little one. No, it's fine, I
Yes.
does this save like 25% or 50%?
Kelly was very focused on saving some paper.
There you go.
nice job.
And, recognizing most folks are going to access the annual report online.
Most
But
people
this-
don't access it at all, just to be honest.
Believe it or not, I did have a Sandown resident call me and ask me for it.
Oh, I've had people.
Couple years ago.
Want it, but, I don't.
So now you can sign that, Sheila, and send it right over.
These are for the town halls and the libraries.
Yeah.
It takes up a little less space on a little table and.
Okay.
It
really like
is
this,
though, actually, I don't know if the libraries keep like a copy of this. You may want to consider for the libraries using a
Give them
stand.
a full
may-
size.
beca-
Yeah, we
I
could.
would just check with the libraries.
Yes.
I don't know if they do, but there's some.
Bad idea.
Right. If
you
they
may
put it
wanna-
on a shelf
might
somewhere.
have a standard size.
Yeah.
Because they shelve them for a certain period of time. Because residents
can
do
do
look
that.
at them.
Very nice.
This is good though. I like this.
Okay.
Small enough for you to take everywhere with you.
Much better.
Do yourself a favor and scan it and look at it, because it's worth it. It's like a book.
Oh, okay.
What?
Big improvement.
Flip snack.
Online.
Is it? Oh, is it? Okay.
Flip snack, yeah. It was the sound effects that really got me. The strategic plan, we're gonna use it for the strategic plan as well.
Okay.
It has sound effects. It's pretty cool.
All righty. Moving right along.
The earliest meeting yet.
You can, that's yours to keep, Sheila, okay?
I love it.
That's good.
We can all sign it for you too, like a
Exactly.
yearbook.
That's all signing.
Exactly.
Gift.
Exactly.
It's like
Be like a yearbook.
Exactly. Exactly. Like a yearbook.
It's a school board yearbook.
All righty. Administrator's report.
Probably best to close with your
All right.
comments, I think, right?
Go for it.
So 3 updates and just a notification on the field experience interns to make a 4th point. So one is just a principal search update at Sandown North. We are in the final stages of creating the interview team. We're going to mark that team of 10. It'll include district building administrators as well as Sandown North staff. We've surveyed the community of Sandown North in terms of its staff. We've reached out to those 333 families through a survey, and also the K families at Sandown Central. Just for the public, that survey is going to close at 8 p.m. on Sunday. So as much input as you can give through that will help then inform the interview team of the community's priorities as we begin to go through that interview process. We're also going to meet in person with the staff at Sandown all day tomorrow to engage with them in person and hear their thoughts about what they feel like they need in their next building principal. And then we've outlined a finalized process taking us through the entire interview up into making recommendations to the personnel report. So that's kind of where we stand on that regard. The second update is for strategic planning. Wanted to let you folks know that we're at the synthesis stage right now. Big thanks to Sandy and Carl and Meg. They've kind of served as bucket and kind of big idea leaders. We're going to spend the next few weeks putting together the draft pieces of those report. And again, Sheila, I know you asked for this last time, but to remind the board, we expect to bring a draft back to this group on the 6th of April for that first April board meeting. Then we will outline a process there about seeking community and staff feedback and input before bringing it back for a second reading to the board. So we're excited where that process is headed. The third update is on the hiring process. Huge shout out to Fran and her team. We had a job fair here in the district last night, so they had put in a ton of effort and work to kind of outreaching through all kinds of channels. We were able to secure a couple of positions last night just through their efforts. So thank you, and thank you, and thank you, and thank you, because you got 4 members on your team. And lastly, we're going to welcome Samantha Stalchowski. She's going to be working at the high school and the middle school, doing some observations and some field work with speech and language personnel, and she's going to be here in the district from March until May. So we welcome her to our team for that short period of time.
Great, thank you. And thank you, along with the job fair, Fran and her department, but all of our administrators were there as interviewers. We had more administrators than we had interviewees, unfortunately, but it was still good. It was, every time you can get anybody to come through our doors that we can consider, it's a positive thing, so. Just want to remind everyone that voting is Tuesday, March 14th. This is a unique opportunity. I've been learning more and more about the democratic process in New Hampshire, that we are the purest form of government and purest form of democracy in the United States, the way that our legislative body works, where residents who are voters have the opportunity to vote on so many things, including very directly on your school budget, your town budget, and any town officers that are running or candidates running for town offices or for school board offices. So please take the opportunity, capitalize on this opportunity to get out there and let your voice be heard. Regardless of the outcome of the votes, we look very much at the numbers. We're looking at, we're using all of the information that we can get from the voting process in consideration as we're moving forward to proposing budgets and making decisions about how we spend our money in the school district. So any information that we get from the vote is very helpful. So please take that opportunity seriously. And lastly, I just wanted to say thank you again to Brian Boyle and Sheila Lowe's for returning to the board and serving up until this point again for us. And of course to Dr. Farah for all of her time and commitment to the school board, and all 3 of you as representatives of your towns. And all 3 of you are, as all of you are, real examples of civic-minded residents, something that we don't see as much of, but hopeful that some of our other people in the community are looking at all of the examples that you are all setting, and take up the torch as you all move forward. So thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I guess I'll, before we hear from other committees, I just want to piggyback this a little bit, because I think it's, I'm glad I get the opportunity to come back, because I think it's appropriate that I leave with my school board long-term family member. 6 years ago, when I met Dr. Kim Farah, and it's been quite a journey we've had together. Many morning phone calls when my wife and him, yep, it's your buddy Kim, and then I'm sure then the Danville phone call with Lily on the phone, and so this has been quite an ordeal here, and we've both served with a lot of different members from different towns. Appreciate the opportunity to serve as your chair. This has been an interesting year this year for Timberlane. Thank you, Kristen, for helping me out. Because anyone,
Thank you for doing it.
Well, anybody who has served on the school board, I think for the new members, I think everyone that comes in, the view is different from this side of the table than it is from the other side of the table. and you just do what you can in the time you're here. So I wish the people who are staying, I wish you the best. And of course, Sheila, I knew we could get you back on, because when I got the phone call that when Sheila told me I had to get back on, I quickly returned the serve weeks later.
Well, that's because I volleyed you first.
So there you go. So listen, so to me, but Kim, you're a special person, and I will tell you that if there was kind of like a school board Hall of Fame, you're up there.
Yeah,
You're
you'd
up
have
there.
it.
You're up there,
I don't
Kim,
think I've
because
seen
see,
that picture posted
well,
anywhere else.
well, but I will tell you that I personally,
with
that first year, we were technically co-chairs, and we've been through a lot. And this year, for the newbies, I'm sure you guys had some challenging times. I can assure you, it was nothing compared to 4 years ago. And I just hope for the Timberlane School District that the voters support all our articles, because it's very important that we get the budget passed. This group has done what it could to get the message to the voters. I hope the people support the budget. You've got a big article there in the performance contract, and you have 4 important union agreements on the ballot. So those are the biggies, and I hope that the voters see the wisdom of that and pass it, and that will make for a better year for Timberlane for next year. Make no mistake about it. So, with that being said, are there any other reports of the school board? Because it's been very different. I think you had policy.
Yeah, curriculum assessment and policy. Do you want to do policy?
Go ahead.
I'll do Q&A.
You've been
How's
on
that?
vacation forever. You can
Yeah.
So curriculum and, geez,
Tough
assessment, talking about the different science and math competencies, and the competencies were written prior to the state adoption of the NGSS, which is Next Generation Science Standards. Long story short, they're trying to align them more closely with the NGSS and using a lot of data points, including the iReady, and in collaboration with teachers from all of the buildings, trying to figure out the best practices and what has been working and what hasn't, and identifying areas of strength that we're doing particularly well, in areas of weakness, for example, math, geometry was one of them. How do we restructure that so that we can actually improve our scores that was seen as a weakness, or a place that we should concentrate? So realigning the way these subjects are taught, both to meet the state standards, but also what is working in certain schools and what isn't, and to make certain that some of the best practices from one school, if we're talking, pre-middle school, is incorporated with the others, so we can have some more uniform teaching methods. Let's see. I've asked for a full report for the iReady for the winter scores to come to the school board in June. There was a lot of data given, and we've collected a lot between the two iReady scores, and we have the ability to not only track us as a district, but individual schools, individual grades, and individual students. And so using that information, developing more individualized education plans for our students, as well as realizing what we're doing well and what we're not doing well. So the whole report will come in June. Also, we reviewed some new music theory textbooks. So the idea is to have music theory 1 and 2. There's been a great interest in that, and the textbooks that are being asked for come in 3 different parts: hard textbook, one that you fill in, and then a more practicum. The idea and the reason why Mr. Schweiss had elected to use these particular textbooks was that they aligned pretty closely with the AP exam. Not that at this stage we're going to be offering, my understanding is, an AP exam for music theory. But if the students want to take the AP exam, these are the textbooks that cover some of the materials that are recommended for students who would want to take the AP exam. And that, I'm certain, he was here earlier, he could, fill you in more with that, so that will be coming to us as well. That was it for CNA.
Anybody else?
Michael or Kim have anything? Safeties meeting this coming week, so we won't have anything to report on that. I would like to jump out though and say kudos to Matt. Our student rep is also a leader on Project Hope, and he has been working his tail off all this week, as well as many other days, to get ready for the strut, which is Saturday. And I give kudos not only to Matt, but to all the other students and staff that are involved. And also, as Matt mentioned, we have the milkman on Friday night. So I just wanted to point out, there's all these comments that you hear out there and you catch on social media about our students and how, you know, we're not producing good kids, which is so far from the truth. And every time I see those posts, it just drives me crazy. And we have a perfect example at the high school this weekend of, we have a milkman organization doing their improv on Friday night, followed by Project Hope, which is just all these kids that come together and, one, to have fun, but to support great causes and support each other and do great things for our community and the people around. So for all the negativity that's out there, I think we need to celebrate these kids and the positive things they do. And if you're available Friday night at PAC for the milkman or Saturday for Project Hope, I mean, it's great for the kids to see your faces at these events. So, you know, you don't have to have a kid in the show to be there. It's just a great thing to do, so.
It's great energy at Project Hope.
Great energy there, so, and I know what goes into it, so Matt, congratulations on a great year and being a leader and being chosen for that role.
Thank you.
So enjoy your last Project Hope.
Yes.
Well,
So that's, it's a
4
great
years in the
thing.
making.
I know, so, and then, you know, I'm just gonna piggyback on what Brian said. I've already said goodbye to Brian and Sheila once, and they've come back, so I'm not saying goodbye again.
It's like a bad penny.
because, you know, Kim, I know, I
we
can say
won't be
goodbye to,
back
she's
again.
not coming back, so.
Back again.
Yeah, well, you've both said that before, so I'm not,
Never
you
say
know,
never.
never say never, exactly, so, you know, this is the last of my group now. You know, I thought that when I said it last year, but now with Kim leaving, so these are the people that I came on the board with, and they're the last of the members that are now leaving, so now I'm here alone. So I'm leaving soon, people, so be ready, because I'm following them. But I mean, ups and downs along the way. We've had some good laughs. We've been through it all. And again, Kim, I've worked side by side with you many years as your vice and whatnot, and it's been a pleasure. You're highly respected, as Brian said. If there was a Hall of Fame, you can have it, because we'll put you right in it and go that route. You're a jack of all trades when it comes to the school board. You know something about everything, and I don't think anybody has ever matched that. So I'm nominating you for the Hall of Fame.
I like it.
I will say,
I think you're a part of it, but best wishes and everything you do for you and your family.
There's some empty wall space over there we can work on.
We can add a piece of the report then.
Back page, no.
So there you go. So I think we have to, we have some official business in a non-public that we have to handle, which is, wouldn't be a school board meeting without a non-public.
I don't think we're coming back, though, are we?
We are not coming back, no.
No.
Okay, so can we go into a non-paid public, take a 5-minute recess, or take a 5-minute recess, go into a non-public? I want cake.
Yeah, we definitely. Well, how many meetings you have left, Sheila?
None.
None, okay.
Zero.
Okay, all right. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll have cake, all right? 'Cause I know you've worked pretty hard at that.
It's ugly as sin,
It's good,
but it's cake.
it's good. That's all that
How
matters.
bad could it be?
So we'll have cake first, and then we'll go into non-public, so let's get our priorities done.
I'll make a motion to enter non-public under 91A:3, 2A and C.
Second.
Roll, please.
Yeah, she's looking at it.
Yeah, give it to Sheila.
Thank you.
Call the roll, please.
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah.
See, I'm usually one that forgets.
I am. Michael Boucher.
Yes.
Kim McCormick, Mark Sherwood,
Yes.
Kristen Savage.
Yes.
Brian Boyle.
Yes.
Kim Farah, Shauna Manthorn.
Yes.
Katie Knutson.
Yes.
Sheila Lowe.
Yes.
All righty. Good night, and thank you, Tim Delaney.
Let's ask